Hey, welcome to part 2 of making interactive Google Slides. This lesson is going to focus on creating graphic organizer templates. So we're going to work together and I'm going to show you how to create the graphic organizer template if you are creating one for vocabulary words. So if you take a look at this one, again, if you watched part 1 and we worked on drag and drop slides and used images as our background, this tutorial works in the same way. So once you get really good at learning how to create a background and then setting that image as your background and then creating boxes on top of it, you will be an expert at creating interactive Google Slides for your students. So if I try to click on the table that's in the background, I cannot click on that. I cannot click on the word definition. So all of that part, the whole template part of this graphic organizer is a background image and it cannot be moved by students. So let's take a look at how to create this. So the first thing you'll need to do is start with a blank Google slide. And to make the template that I'm going to use for this vocabulary lesson, what I'm going to do is go to Insert and Table. And I'm going to do a 2x2 table to be able to make it look like this. So I'm going to fit the table so that it fits on the page the way that I want it to fit. And then I can center it up. I can change the color of the lines around it and also change the thickness of the lines. And really that's your preference, however you want that to look. And then now I need that box for the word, the vocabulary word that's going to be in the middle. So to add that, I'm going to go to Shapes. I'm going to choose a rectangle. And I'm going to decide how large I want this rectangle to be. And I'm going to center it. And then I'm going to fill it with white just so it matches the rest of the background. And I'm going to change the thickness of the line so it matches the rest of the template. Now you can see back on this slide how I created the background. I want to put these different words in there. So I'm just going to type right into this table. Instead of putting text boxes over the top of that, I don't have to do that here because this is a table that you could type into. So I'm going to choose a font that I really like to use, whatever my preference is. I'm going to make the font size bigger. And then I'm going to type in the words that I want to go here. For this side of the table, I want to align it on the right side. Make sure that I'm using the same font. I'm going to go ahead and select the whole table so I don't have to change the font in every single cell that I'm in. Just going to do it one time for the whole thing. And we come down here, we're going to add in synonyms, antonyms. Again, I'm going to line this side up on the right side. I want them to be able to put a picture in down there. So now I have the background for this template set up the way that I want to use it. So now I'm going to go to File and Download PNG image and just this current slide. it's going to drop it down here in the downloads section of my computer screen. I'm going to go into my drive and add that file to my drive. All I did was drag and drop it in there. I'll go back into my Google Slides presentation and I want to make a background. So I'm going to need a new slide. I'm going to go to background, choose image. It'll show up in my recents since that's the last thing that I used. I'm going to insert this image, click done, and now I have that template set up in the background. So if a student tried to move any of these words or move the boxes or the table around, they try to click on it, none of this will move. But now, if we look back at this one, you can see that I gave directions for the students to what to type into these boxes. So I'm going to go back to the template and I'm going to add text boxes over the top of the background. So the students will know where to type and have a place to type. I have this set up for them. So say I'm going to put it in a different color so it will be noticeable. I'll add a text box. That's the same size as the box that's already there. I'm going to want it to be centered. I'm going to change the color. I'm going to make the font size bigger. I'm going to say type vocabulary word here. Actually need to make this smaller. And then again, I'm just going to continue adding text boxes as a layer on top of the background. I can even duplicate that text box and then move it to where I want it. So that way it keeps my font, it keeps the color, and I don't have to keep resetting that every time. Okay. And the last thing I want the students to do is to add a picture in this box. So instead of putting a picture there, I'm going to go down here into the notes section of this slide, and I'm going to give them instructions about how to add a picture there. So I'm going to say to add a picture. Go to insert. These are the instructions that the student will follow. Image, and choose where the image is located. Sorry about that. So I'm going to say image. We need to choose where the image is located. Select image and insert. And then move and resize the image as necessary. If I had students that were not used to doing this yet, maybe they've never done it before, I could even add a little tutorial video into this slide. I could add a little video and put it over here. So if a student didn't know how to do this, I could show them visually the steps to insert a picture. Our kids are pretty intuitive though when it comes to technology, and several of them probably already know how to insert an image. But if they don't, again, you can add a video tutorial, or you could just put the directions for how to do that down here in this slide notes. All right. And so that's all there is to it about how to make this type of graphic organizer template slide. And if you wanted to share it with students, you could go to the share button and share it with them that way. If you wanted each student to have a copy, and then you're going to add that into either a HyperDoc or something that the student's going to click on. Maybe you're going to send the link in an email. If you delete everything after that last / and put in the word copy, that forces the student to make a copy instead of using yours or writing on the top of each other's work. And then you could also post it into your Google Classroom. And so you would do that by going to classroom.google.com, finding the classroom that you would like to post this assignment to, going to classwork and create an assignment. You can title it and add it straight from your Google Drive. So for me, the presentation that I was working from is this one right here. So I would select it and hit insert, and then I can assign it to all the students in the class, or I can assign it to just particular students in the class. And after I have made all my selections, then I would click assign, and this assignment would show up from my students in my Google Classroom. Also, a tip here, you don't want to forget to choose make a copy for each student when you assign an assignment in Google Classroom. If you want students to be able to be working on their own Google slide presentation, and then you're not wanting them to all share it or all have edit access to one slide deck. Okay, so we'll pop back over here into the slide one more time and take a look at how it looks. And so you can make any kind of graphic organizer template right in Google Slides. I hope you found this helpful.